Hello and welcome along to the sportsbet.io Euro podcast. There with myself, Pete Farries, and Taufig Khalil. This is the Bundesliga version, but there is a Serie A version and, of course, a La Liga version as well. So do take a look at the YouTube page for all of that. Taufig, hello. Before we get into the Bundesliga, we're off the back. This is a Wednesday morning recording, so there are some things happening Wednesday evening, of course, in the Champions League. What happened Tuesday night was the Borussia Dortmund went 2-0 up. I had a little bit of a nap. It had been a long day yesterday. And I woke up to find them having been absolutely battered in the second half by Real Madrid. What happened there, Taufig, and what's the reaction been to that?
To be honest, the moment when Borussia Dortmund started after around, say, 60 minutes to take Bino Gittens out, bring Anton in. I like Anton very much, but the sign getting a forward out of the game and get a defensive in when you ruling at Bernabeu. This is a sign. I said that I was watching the match with my son, and I said, okay, now it's over because Borussia Dortmund is sending a sign. Is sending a sign that we are done with that match. We are sure. We just want to bring it home safely. And this is, I think, the biggest mistake you can make at Bernabeu, you can make against a team like Real Madrid, because in that moment you really gave it to them. They knew Borussia Dortmund is done with that match. They think that they can sail it home, but hey, it's Real Madrid, and you don't do that. You play your game. You play the game that made you strong. This is something I really admire at Vincent's company. He didn't win all the last matches, but he stuck on his idea, which is attractive and successful. And so what Borussia Dortmund did, they changed the match plan after they saw they are fine with it.
Do you think that's about Nuri Sahin perhaps learning a little bit? I mean, you maybe do that with 10 minutes to go. You know, 10 minutes to go, you just shore it up and just try and see the game out. But to do it that early, you like you say, Real Madrid start to smell fear. They start to smell weakness, don't they? And they come for you. So,
absolutely.
So Shaheen's going to have to learn from that, right? That's the point.
That's what I said. Once again, another thing I said. I'm not that wise football commentator, but
I think you are.
When you are doing this job for a long time, you get some feelings for things. And I said to my son, "This is a mistake by a young coach." I'm not sure if he plays the same match at the same position tonight. I'm pretty sure he will not do the same thing again, because as you said, Real was smelling fear was smelling that. Well, Dortmund was pushing back in front of their own box, and if you give Real the space to develop their match plan, their game, they kill you.
Yeah, and they did. It was a phenomenal second half from Real Madrid. Let's move on to the Bundesliga then, because obviously Dortmund travel to the WWK Arena. They take on Augsburg this weekend as well. Both teams' score looks brilliant here. I mean, landed in 5 of the last 5, and I suppose 6 now, including that Champions League game. Dortmund actually have failed to win on 2 of their last 3 visits to Augsburg, which is fairly interesting. But Augsburg, there's no shame in losing to Freiburg at the moment, but where are they in the Bundesliga pyramid at the moment? Because they're a strange side too.
Augsburg is a big disappointment for me so far, because I'm living 30 kilometers away from Augsburg, right between the Allianz Arena and the WWK Stadium, as you just mentioned it. And I can cycle there with my bike if the weather is nice. And so for me, it's a big disappointment. I've seen them playing several times this year, and I expected them after last season that they made a much bigger step, that they are much further than they seem to be. Well, there was a huge change with Demirovic going to Stuttgart, cost them their major forward player. It's not, for a team like Augsburg, is not easy to substitute a player like that, like him. But it's a disappointment how they play, and absolutely you cannot tell if we'll see the good Augsburg or the bad Augsburg. When Dortmund was leading 2-0, it was funny to see some Augsburg fans on the internet. They say, okay, now for us it's easy to beat Borussia Dortmund, because everybody had in mind, okay, Dortmund coming out of Bernabeu with a big victory. Yeah, like this year, big, very
focus
strong.
Gone. Yeah.
Focus gone. Hey, come on, who is Augsburg? And then get smashed by Augsburg. But now, after the 5-2, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the Dortmund players want to make something good for their fans, want to show that the trip to Augsburg is not for free. I think that the pressure is much higher on Dortmund, and the focus maybe a little stronger than it would have been if Borussia Dortmund would have won at Bernabeu. So bad for Augsburg. It'll be a tough match, and
it's tough, isn't it?
Isn't
it tough? I was thinking the same thing.
Come on.
Because you can go one of two ways, can't you? You can say Dortmund desperate to sort of get some dignity back after a horrible midweek, but you could also say they've been to Spain, they've come back, they've been absolutely battered, having had a 2-goal lead, and they don't have a brilliant record in the last couple of visits to Augsburg. So it's a fascinating game. I couldn't call the winner, which sounds strange when you think about Augsburg Dortmund, but I couldn't call the winner. I could say both teams score, but it's a tough match to call.
Give it a draw.
Yeah, just do that. Let's just do that.
Yeah, might be a good chance. I think it'll be a very low-scoring match.
Right.
And Augsburg is not a team they're always good to concede some goals, but not good at scoring too many. So they have a lot of problems defensive wise. I would say if it's a 1-1, then 1-1, then they should be fine.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be. I'm really interested in that game. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. And I didn't know that you could cycle there on your bike, which is quite nice as well. You've got a lot of ground. That's the great thing about Germany. It's easy to get to all of your grounds. Even from just your house. Right, and we'll move on to Leipzig-Freiburg. This is a good-looking game as well. Freiburg obviously sit third in the Bundesliga. They've been the surprise package, if you will, so far this season in Germany. And they're taking a Leipzig side who are joint top. It's just the goal difference that separates them and Bayern Munich at the moment. Again, Leipzig will play Liverpool on Wednesday night. We're recording this Wednesday morning, so just another head on that. We don't quite know what's going to have happened there. But Leipzig pottering along quite nicely. Nice wins to 0 at Heidenheim and at Mainz. But Freiburg, they're a serious outfit this season.
Yeah, we had the same chat last week.
Same chat last week, yeah.
Same chat, and they even get higher up in on the Bundesliga table. They are now in third position. It's unbelievable what they do. They have a very good spirit, it's a tough travel to Leipzig because Leipzig is playing very well this season so far. But if there is a team which has the momentum on its side to achieve something at Leipzig, it might be Freiburg. It would be not a big surprise if they might have a good chance to win there, even at Leipzig. Depends how Leipzig come from the Champions League match, how much energy they will lose if they have injured players or things like that. But I would say I would actually give a 2-1 to Freiburg in this match. It would not be the biggest surprise of this match day.
But also, I mean, I watched the Freiburg-Augsburg game the other day. Grifo, absolutely superb in that match, scored a great goal. Gunter's goal was, I mean, for anyone who can go and find it, Gunter's goal is absolutely fantastic from range. The way he sort of sweeps the boot across it, it's a brilliant goal as well. So they're scoring great goals. There's clearly a brilliant team belief there.
It's a team.
Yeah.
They are a team.
Yeah. And they just look really good. I thought that again, Augsburg aren't Leipzig, but the way that they just kind of set at them, I thought was absolutely excellent. And Julian Schuster and the team there at Freiburg doing a brilliant job. On to Werder Bayern. Werder haven't scored at home in 3. Bayer Leverkusen have scored 8 goals in 3 away games. Again, they play Brest on Wednesday night. But this looked like the easiest game to call. Well, one of the easiest games to call on Saturday anyway. Lever looked to me simple winners.
Yeah, but Leverkusen is still going through problems. Last week against Frankfurt, they were very lucky with some referee calls made, which went in their direction. They could even easy draw that match against Frankfurt. It was a victory. Okay, good, and they beat Frankfurt, strong team, which gave Bayern Munich a hard time the week before. But Leverkusen, we are missing a lot of this playing style of Leverkusen. Last season, it was much for on the pitch. You could see a much better idea, a much
clearer.
better style. What they do now with Boniface maybe out, we don't know. He had a terrible accident. He was on the way to Frankfurt Airport. He was not driving. He was on the seat on the right side, but it was terrible. I saw the car wreck.
He was very lucky. He was very, very lucky.
That he get out of that, and what, he has some cuts on his hand and on his foot. He'll not play in the Champions League. Looks like a cut always can be a problem, even if it's a minor injury. But we'll see how that works for him. If they miss him, it's even another slap. But Leverkusen is and Werder Bremen is a crazy team. I've seen them playing this season already twice, and I can say that I can say nothing about what. It's crazy.
They're so much better away. I mean, you look at home, they're failing to score, but away they're just banging goals in for fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough one, but yeah, if it all goes good and if Leverkusen comes with self-confidence, if maybe Boniface is back, then it should be, as you said, clear for Leverkusen. I would give that to Leverkusen.
Yeah, I would as well. But then again, I mean, as you said, they drew against Holstein Kiel a couple of weeks ago, and that was a game that you'd have just said, they win that. That's easy. So there is issues.
It was already done. That match was through, and then they had this Borussia Dortmund moment where they somehow gave it out.
Very strange. I mean, but again, it's adding to the interest of the Bundesliga. We will finish with Bochum against Bayern. Speaking of games that that look possibly slightly one-sided, Bochum 1 point in the Bundesliga so far this season. Of course, yet to win. Bayern Munich off the back of absolutely obliterating Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. Again, though, they've got a very tough tie this evening, Wednesday evening, away against Barcelona. So there is interest spin there, but even if Bayern are beaten, and I don't see this happening, 5-0 by Barcelona, I still can't see a way that Bochum win this game.
Even if Bayern get beaten 5-0 by Barcelona, I would give it even more to Bayern Munich, because I know what I'm working with that club for a long time, and there's the one word which is very much related to Bayern Munich, and this is pride. It's a very proud club, and if Barcelona will put a deep sting into them, they will react on. They will shake it off. They will travel home with long faces. They will sleep it out. They might drink it out at the reception after the match. Because the interesting thing is, when I was at Aston Villa with Bayern Munich, there was a match they lost. After they lose matches, they have a banquet with a lot of officials, things like that. Right. And at this banquet, after they lose a match, they sitting way longer together and discussing more intensive than after victories. After victories, a player eat a little thing and then they go to bed. When I left the banquet at Birmingham, 1.5 hours, around 1.5 hours I was there. There were still a lot of players talking and discussing, because if they will lose that match at Barcelona, the reaction will be sitting together and finding out what was wrong. And trust me, Bochum will pay that bill, definitely.
I think they'll pay either way, I think. I mean, look, this Bochum side, it is a Bundesliga Zwei side, really. Max Wittek, a very decent left-back. I've always liked Max Wittek, but again, you go through this squad, it's just, I'm looking at it now, it's a perfectly solid Bundesliga Zwei side, but a solid Bundesliga Zwei side is going to very unlikely do anything against Bayern Munich, basically.
Absolutely, I can't see. the thing is that they have a big friendship, a fan friendship between Bochum and Bayern Munich. The Bayern Munich fans and the Borussia Dortmund fans have a big relationship together, and there will be a lot of cheering, a lot of celebration before the match. But after the match, it's almost every time the same thing. There's only one side that's cheering, and that is Bayern Munich, and that's what I expect for the season. When you talk about teams who are relegated, when you have an eye for, say, as we started with Augsburg, and then you want to find two teams which playing worse than Augsburg, then it's definitely Bochum is the first you have in mind. So the first spot for getting relegated into the second division should be Bochum. And the other might be Kiel, you don't know, or whoever might be there. But Bochum is for me, they have no chance against Bayern Munich. That would be a big surprise. But hey, we have seen surprises.
Absolutely,
not with Vincent Kompany so far, but we've seen them in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Bayern's form, sort of last five, just on the face of it, it's sort of 2 draws, a couple of wins and a loss. It actually, on the face of it, doesn't look like Bayern Munich form, does it? But then when you start to break it down, the draws have come against good sides. You've had that one loss at Aston Villa. So it's not Bayern Munich form, but it's not appalling form when you look at the context. I think is maybe how I'd go about it. I've always had a soft spot for Bochum. They were the team in the Bundesliga Matchday when I first started covering European football. I really used to like. There was a Japanese midfielder called Takashi Inui, who I always absolutely loved. He was only there for a year, and I think he went to Eintracht Frankfurt after that. But I always loved him, and that was a time when them and Greuther Fürth and a few others were battling it out at the top of the Bundesliga Matchday, which, by the way, folks, is a great league to go and watch. The Bundesliga Matchday is a brilliant league if you've not gone and watched it before.
You have Schalke, you have Hertha,
Hamburg,
you have Hamburg, you have Nuremberg. And when you take the capacity of the stadiums, the capacity of the second division in Germany stadiums is bigger than the first division with the small stadiums of Heidenheim, of Kiel. Only 15,000. But then you have Hertha with 75,000. So we call the German second division the best second division in the world.
I would not. I think that you look at the stadiums maybe in the Championship in England, and that's maybe the only comparison, perhaps. But then the Championship ones in England don't sell out in the way that the Bundesliga Matchday ones do. But like you say, so many massive clubs in the second division of Germany. It's really fun to bet on. It's really fun to watch. Go and watch the Bundesliga Matchday. Taufig, thank you so much as always for your fantastic expertise. We will talk to you ahead of the next round of fixtures as well. And he's going to go and jump on his bike and cycle over to the Augsburg game now as well. Taufig, thank you so much.
Well, it's raining. No, not today. No.
Not in the rain, of course. And also you'd be
not in the rain. No.
A few days early as well, which means you'd be standing outside for quite a while. Thank you. We will see you next time. Don't forget, do gamble responsibly and do take a look at the La Liga and, of course, the Serie A podcasts from sportsbet.io as well.